The family meeting at Harrison Estate felt more like a victory lap for my siblings than the reading of our grandfather's will. Their designer suits and smug smiles said it all. They'd already divided the valuable assets among themselves. To my beloved grandchildren, the lawyer read, adjusting his wire-rimmed glasses, I leave my life's work in investments. My brother Thomas, CEO of Harrison Real Estate, practically vibrated with anticipation. My sister Elizabeth, who ran Harrison Development, had already sketched plans for grandfather's prime Manhattan properties. To Thomas Harrison III, my downtown portfolio. The lawyer continued as Thomas's smile widened. To Elizabeth Harrison Montgomery, the Harrison Tower and associated developments. I sat quietly in my geology-stained field clothes, fresh from my latest survey. 6 months of data collection had confirmed what grandfather and I had discussed in secret. And to Catherine Harrison. The lawyer paused, frowning slightly. The desert holdings in Sector 7. The mahogany-paneled room erupted in barely concealed laughter. Worthless sand, Thomas snickered, not bothering to lower his voice. Guess grandfather's senility kicked in at the end. Elizabeth patted my hand with mock sympathy. At least you got something, dear. Maybe build a nice campsite. They didn't notice my slight smile, or the satellite surveys hidden in my worn leather bag. They hadn't bothered to check why grandfather had maintained those worthless holdings for 40 years. Speaking of the desert property, Thomas added, I'll take it off your hands. Say 10,000. Be reasonable, Kathy. It's more than it's worth. My phone buzzed. The Geological survey team had arrived. Actually, I stood, brushing desert dust from my clothes. I should head out there now. Wouldn't want to waste my inheritance. Don't get sunburned. Elizabeth called after me, her laughter echoing through grandfather's study. All that sand can be so reflective. They never asked why I'd spent 6 months studying geological formations. Never wondered why grandfather had insisted I get my PhD in petroleum engineering. Never questioned why he'd smiled every time he mentioned his worthless desert holdings. The survey team's message flashed across my phone. Initial drilling tests confirm preliminary findings. Estimated reserves exceed expectations. I turned back at the door. Thomas? About your offer. 10,000 is generous, he smirked. For a bunch of sand. I'll remember you said that, I smiled, at the next shareholders' meeting. The desert sun beat down mercilessly as I stepped out of my dust-covered Jeep. The Geological survey team's equipment dotted the landscape like alien structures, their metal frames gleaming against the endless sand. 6 months of secret preparations had led to this moment. Dr. Harrison, Dr. Chin, my former thesis advisor and now head of the survey team, rushed over. The core samples, they're beyond our highest estimates. I pulled out grandfather's old leather journal from my bag. The worn pages contained 40 years of careful observations, subtle hints and patient waiting. He'd known what lay beneath this worthless sand, but he'd also known timing was everything. Your brother's company called again. My assistant Sarah radioed from the base camp. They're offering 20,000 now. Mr. Harrison says he's being more than generous with his baby sister. I checked my tablet showing real-time data from the test wells. The initial pressure readings were off the charts. Grandfather's notes had been precise. He'd mapped every formation, predicted every deposit. He just needed someone with the right expertise to prove it. Ma'am, one of the engineers called out, we've got confirmation from 3 separate sites. This isn't just an oil field. It's potentially one of the largest untapped reserves in the region. My phone buzzed with a text from Elizabeth. Darling, heard you're playing with drilling equipment. Don't hurt yourself. Thomas's offer still stands. The survey team gathered around the main display, their expressions a mix of awe and excitement. The 3D mapping showed what grandfather had suspected decades ago, a vast network of oil-bearing formations, perfectly preserved and untouched. Dr. Harrison, Dr. Chin studied the readings. These numbers, we're looking at billions in extractable crude. Your grandfather's worthless land is sitting on a fortune. Another message from Thomas. Final offer, 50K. Don't be difficult, Kathy. You know nothing about resource management. I smiled, remembering grandfather's last words to me. They see the sand, Katie. You see what's beneath it. Just like I taught you. Sarah, I called to my assistant, prepare the press release, and set up a board meeting at Harrison Oil and Energy. Harrison Oil and Energy? She questioned. That's not. It will be, I replied, watching the sun set over my desert empire. Grandfather registered the name 40 years ago. He just waited for the right heir to claim it. The test well's pressure gauge spiked again, sending the engineers into a flurry of activity. Somewhere in Manhattan, my siblings were probably laughing about their foolish sister playing in the sand. They wouldn't be laughing much longer. Your brother's secretary is asking about the family dinner tonight, Sarah reported. Elizabeth's hosting at the Harrison Tower. Tell them I'm busy, I answered, watching another set of promising readings scroll across the screens. I'm building something in all this worthless sand. Dr. Chin approached with the final survey report. This changes everything in the region. The market implications alone. Oh, I know, I nodded, thinking of Thomas's smug face at the will reading. Market implications are exactly what I'm counting on. The desert wind picked up, sending swirls of sand dancing around the equipment. Soon this empty landscape would be transformed into a field of derricks and processing plants. The worthless inheritance would reshape the entire Harrison empire. My phone buzzed one last time. Elizabeth again. Thomas is furious you missed dinner. Says you're being childish about the desert property. Do be reasonable, darling. I took a photo of the test well's pressure readings and sent it as my reply. Let them figure it out themselves. After all, they were the business experts in the family. As the night descended on the desert, the survey team's floodlights illuminated our operation like a small city. Each light represented another confirmation of what grandfather had known all along. Latest core samples are ready for analysis, Dr. Chin announced, handing me a tablet with fresh data. The oil quality is exceptional. Low sulfur content, ideal viscosity. My satellite phone rang. Thomas again. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing the message. More condescending advice, another generous offer, probably some threat about family loyalty. Ma'am, one of the junior geologists rushed over. We found something else. The secondary formations, they're showing significant natural gas deposits. I pulled out grandfather's journal again, flipping to a page marked with a faded red ribbon. There it was, his neat handwriting from 30 years ago. Gas pockets likely present in lower strata. Waiting for technology to confirm. Your sister's lawyers are trying to reach you, Sarah reported. Something about family asset consolidation discussions. The wind carried the sweet smell of crude from the test wells. Each drop was worth more than all the patronizing offers my siblings had made. Each reservoir confirmed what grandfather had seen decades before any of us were born. Dr. Harrison, Dr. Chin studied another set of readings. These pressure gradients suggest the field extends beyond the original survey area. Your grandfather's holdings, they might cover only part of the deposit. I smiled, pulling out another document from my bag. Check the property lines again, Dr. Chin. Grandfather bought the adjacent sectors through shell companies. All 40,000 acres belong to the worthless inheritance. The night shift crews were arriving now, their vehicles kicking up dust clouds that glowed in the floodlights. Soon, this quiet desert would hum with the sound of extraction equipment, processing plants and transport operations. Thomas is on his way, Sarah warned. His private jet just filed a flight plan to the regional airport. Perfect timing, I nodded, watching another test well's pressure gauge climb. He can see for himself what his generous offers were really worth. The stars emerged above us, the same stars grandfather had studied while planning this moment. He taught me to look deeper, to see past the surface, to understand that true value often lies hidden. Initial market analysis is ready, Sarah added. Based on current oil prices and estimated reserves. Send it to the family lawyers, I interrupted. Along with grandfather's 40 years of survey data. Let them calculate how many Manhattan buildings our worthless sand is worth. The desert night grew cold, but the excitement kept us warm. Each new test, each core sample, each pressure reading confirmed what grandfather had written in his journal. Katie will understand. Katie will wait. Katie will build something magnificent in this sea of sand. Thomas's helicopter appeared as a black dot against the dawn sky, kicking up clouds of sand as it descended near our base camp. I watched from the command center as he stepped out in his perfectly tailored suit, looking comically out of place among the drilling equipment and work crews. "What kind of game are you playing, Kathy?" he demanded, storming into the air-conditioned module. His eyes widened at the wall of monitors displaying real-time drilling data. "No game, brother," I replied, not looking up from the latest core sample analysis. "Just managing my worthless inheritance." Elizabeth's voice crackled through the satellite phone on speaker. "Thomas, is she there? Make her see reason. Daddy's furious about the drilling permits." "Our father," I noted, signing off on another test well authorization, "who called my petroleum engineering degree a waste of the Harrison name?" Dr. Chin entered with a fresh stack of surveys. "Dr. Harrison, the eastern quadrant is showing even higher pressures. We might need to adjust our reserve estimates upward." Thomas grabbed one of the reports, his face paling as he read the numbers. "This is impossible. This land was worthless. We had it surveyed 20 years ago. By Harrison Real Estate's preferred contractors?" I smiled. "The same ones who conveniently overlook problems in your downtown properties?" The command center hummed with activity as more data poured in. Each screen told the story grandfather had written in his journal. Each pressure reading confirmed his decades-old predictions. "Your latest offer," I continued, pulling up Thomas's email, $50,000? Let's see. At current market prices that would buy you about. I did some quick calculations, 3 minutes of production from a single well. Elizabeth's voice turned sharp through the speaker. "Catherine and Harrison, you listen to me. This is family business. You can't just—" "Family business?" I interrupted, projecting grandfather's old survey maps onto the main screen. "Like when you both convinced the board to pass over me for the Harrison Industries executive position. Because Katie's too busy playing in the dirt?" Thomas's phone buzzed continuously, probably their father, demanding explanations. The great Richard Harrison too, who'd laughed when I chose geology over business school. "The financial projections are ready," Sarah announced, entering with a thick folder. "Conservative estimates put the field's value at—" "Don't." Thomas lunged for the folder. "This has to go through proper channels." "Family channels? You mean your channels?" I took the folder calmly. "The same ones that valued this worthless land at less than a Manhattan parking spot?" The numbers were staggering even with conservative estimates. Grandfather had known, had planned, had waited for the right moment, and the right heir. "The press release goes out at noon," I informed them, watching Thomas's face redden. "Harrison Oil and Energy announces the largest oil discovery in regional history." Interesting timing with Harrison Real Estate stock looking so volatile lately. "You wouldn't dare," Elizabeth's voice shook. "Daddy will never." "Daddy will what?" I projected the ownership documents. "Contest grandfather's will? Challenge my rights to my inheritance? Please encourage him. The publicity would be fascinating." Dr. Chin appeared again. "Dr. Harrison, the secondary geological survey. It's confirmed presence of rare earth elements in the deeper strata." Thomas grabbed the edge of a desk, steadying himself. "Rare earth elements. The lifeblood of modern technology. Our worthless desert had just become even more valuable." "You can't handle this," he tried one last time. "You need our expertise, our connections." Like I needed them when I earned my PhD? I pulled up my credentials on the screen. Or when I published pioneering work on desert geological formations. Or maybe when I spent 6 months secretly preparing this operation while you laughed about my inheritance. The satellite phone crackled again. Our father this time. "Catherine, stop this nonsense immediately. I'm calling an emergency board meeting." "Excellent idea," I agreed. "I have some projections the board should see. About the real value of proper geological surveys. And about the future of Harrison Industries." Thomas stared at the operation surrounding us. The crews, the equipment, the steady flow of data confirming what he'd dismissed as worthless. His perfect suit was already stained with desert dust. "One last thing," I added as he turned to leave. "Grandfather left a message for you both." "Sarah." My assistant played the video on the main screen. Grandfather's familiar face appeared, recorded months before his death. "Thomas, Elizabeth. If you're watching this, then Katie has proven what I always knew. She saw beneath the surface, beyond the obvious. While you counted buildings, she counted layers of rock. While you measured success in square footage, she measured it in geological time. The desert was never worthless. You were just looking at it through the wrong eyes. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the drilling field as Thomas's helicopter disappeared into the horizon. The command center had fallen silent, but the monitors kept blinking with new data, each flash representing another nail in my siblings' carefully constructed world. Your father's lawyers have arrived at corporate headquarters, Sarah reported. They're demanding an emergency injunction. Perfect timing, I nodded, signing the final documents. The NYSE opens in 20 minutes. The press release went live exactly at noon. Harrison Oil and Energy announces major discovery. Within seconds, trading algorithms caught the news. Harrison Real Estate's stock began to plummet as investors rushed to position themselves for the new reality. My phone lit up with messages, from board members suddenly remembering my potential, from family friends abruptly recalling their support of my career, from Elizabeth's country club associates urgently offering partnerships. I deleted them all except one, a simple text from grandfather's old secretary. He would be so proud, Katie. You saw what they couldn't.